Hello everybody and welcome to the Creatrix YouTube channel. I welcome you all in a fresh session of analog electronics. And my dear friends, when I say we are going to learn analog electronics from the very basic, I mean it. We will be learning from the very basic level to the very advanced level along with a lots and lots of questions. So before we do that, let me first introduce myself for my friend who is meeting me for the first time. My dear friends, my name is Ankit Goyal. I got AIR1 twice in GATE in 2014 and 2018. I was awarded the President of India Gold Medal in the year 2013 when I graduated from IIT Indore. Till date, I have trained more than 1 lakh students in the online and the offline classes and presently working as a director at an academy for GATE department. But my dear friends, the reason behind this series is because of the huge demand of analog electronics and the belief that whenever you ask for anything, we are there to deliver. Yes, my dear friends, we are here for you. We are here delivering for you. And when we say it, we'll support you to the very fullest level. And this series will help you crack GATE with the top rank. It will enable EC student to get 12 out of 12 and 5 out of 5 for electrical students. So my dear friends, if you want to learn with us live, then you can join an academy using the code AnkitESE to get an immediate 10% discount. And not only, my dear friend, 10% discount, it also brings you under my guidance so that I can help you do something that I have done. I can at least take you near to this goal. Okay. So if you also dream the same thing, then join me in this journey on an academy subscription using the code AnkitESE. Now, my dear friend, if you like the content that I deliver, you can watch more of my free videos on this URL, tinyurl.com/AnkitESE. Here you will find all my videos arranged subject-wise, chapter-wise, and you will find great content for free. And you are definitely going to love it. You are definitely going to enjoy. It not only includes conceptual videos, but it also includes problem-solving sessions. So just visit this once and you will fall in love with this URL. Don't forget it. It is a lifeline for you. And if you love the content that we are delivering on YouTube, we have created the first ever video book for you guys, where you will find all the videos along with all the notes that we provide arranged subject wise, chapter wise. So now, my dear friends, your dreams are no longer dreams. They are becoming a reality because you are getting a top quality course, well arranged, well structured, and that too for free. So what can be better than that? What can be better than that? Nothing, my dear friends. So we have empowered the dreams of those who earlier used to think that only the person with a huge amount of money can crack GATE with a top rank. No, my dear friends, that is not the case. Even you can do. Even you can do it. But yes, just you need to believe in yourself and visit this link. But remember, this is a case sensitive link, so write this in uppercase. Other than that, if you join plus subscription, you get all the top educators like me teaching you live in daily lectures, along with providing you daily practice paper, weekly quiz, test series, previous year question, practice question, crash course, rank improvement batch, and most importantly, clearing your each and every doubt. So if you join plus subscription, it is an entire world inside it. So you don't have to look outside. Once you enter plus, every need of yours will be taken care of, and we will make your journey as smooth as possible towards that destination of getting under 100, under 10 rank. Believe me, my friend, you leave that strategy part to us. You leave the content part to us. You just work hard and we will make sure that you obtain the top rank in GATE and ESE. And Iconic is a big brother of Plus. Yes, this is a little brother. So Iconic gives you everything that a Plus subscription gives, along with much more. The major part of Iconic is this personal coach, a person dedicated to you on a daily basis to get you the top rank, guiding you, getting your schedule design, making your strategy. Everything that you need to get the top rank is being done by this personal coach. He'll also create a study planner for you, which you can follow blindly and reach your destination with utmost ease. They will be analyzing your test result and tell you where you are lacking, how you can improve. So that way, my dear friend, everybody else will get a standard analysis, but you will get an analysis just tailor-made for you. Along with it, we have included study material additionally, theory and question bank, and soon we'll be introducing interview guidance into this. So this will become a complete package for a student who wants to take that journey from being an average student to sitting into a PSU or a MTech seat. So for them, this journey will be just like driving a Lamborghini to work. So that sort of a experience, that sort of a royal experience we are going to give you. So let's move on to the lecture, and if you want to join Unacademy, just make sure you use the code AnkitESE to get my guidance as well as to get 10% over and above whatever Unacademy offers you. So now let's move on to the lecture, dear friends, and let's see what we have in store for you.
Hi guys, up to now we have seen the basic operation of BJT, the different configurations like common emitter configuration, common base configuration and common collector, and we have seen some other terminology related like thermal equivalent, like derating, like BJT operation as a diode. From now on, we will be entering the numerical aspects of BJT, that is, we will be talking about the circuits where BJT is employed. Just up to now, we have been talking about the concept behind BJT, but now we will talk about the circuit point of view. So first, we will start from biasing. See, when we were studying diode, what did we do? First of all, we saw the circuits where DC supply was used, and then we moved on to the AC circuits. Like when I told you about open circuit and short circuit test, we were dealing with DC supply. And then when we moved to clipper, clamper, rectifier, we were talking about AC analysis. Same process we will follow in BJT. First we will talk about DC analysis and later on we will come to AC analysis. In diode, when we were talking about biasing, what did I tell you about biasing? That biasing means applying a DC voltage in order to establish the operating point. So same thing happens here. BJT biasing means application of DC voltages to establish operating point. Okay, that is called as the BJT biasing. Now, as I told you, in diode also, first we do DC analysis and find the operating point, and then we talk about the small signal model, and I also told you the significance of small signal model. Small signal means a very low amplitude of AC voltage is superimposed on the DC voltage. What I mean to say, I'll show again here. If we have a supply that is DC plus AC, VAC, VDC, then what happens? First of all, we have a DC supply like this. On this we superimpose AC. So AC must be very small like this, much smaller as compared to the DC value. Okay. So in that case, what do we do is we perform or we use the principle of superposition. Now the question comes, how can we use superposition? Because BJT is non-linear. As I told you in common emitter configuration also, the characteristics are like this, the output characteristics. So once we have a DC point, this is your DC point, what do we do here is, we draw a tangent at this point, and based on this tangent, we'll take linear portion. What I mean to say is, I will approximate the non-linear curve by a linear curve. And how do I approximate? By drawing a tangent around the or at the DC operating point. And that way I will linearize the curve, and once I linearize the curve, we can make use of the superposition principle. This DC point, as I told you in diode also, is called as Q point or quiescent point. Okay, I told you the meaning also. It is also meaning is quiet point or no signal point. Signal means the AC. This is called as signal, the AC signal, and the DC is called as biasing. You can think like this: whenever I am using an amplifier, I want to amplify the AC signal, but in order to amplify that AC signal, I have to switch on the device. I have to turn on the circuit, right? If you want to cool down your room, you have to turn on the AC, and then using remote you set the temperature. So the signal sent by remote, it will be called as signal, and the supply, that is the current it is drawing from your system, is called as supply. Same way the DC supply will be called as biasing, and the AC will be called as signal. Okay, so that way, same in a air conditioned system, the power drawn from the plug will work as biasing, and the signal sent by the remote control will be called as a signal. Okay, so DC is never treated as a signal when we talk about BJT or analog electronics. We always treat AC as a signal. Okay, is it fine? So what is the purpose of BJT? Biasing. We want to establish the operating point around which our AC will oscillate or the AC will be superimposed. Next, let us talk about the DC load line. Now this concept is important, which we did not study when we talked about diode, the load line, or I think I might have told you also. I don't remember exactly. I might have told you about load line also, but let us see that again. Suppose this is a BJT. First of all, what I want to ask you is, which configuration is it? Guys, just look at this carefully and tell me which configuration is it. How to find? See, the input is connected at the base terminal and output is taken at the collector. So which terminal is common? Emitter. So this is common emitter configuration. So whenever we talk about BJT, we form a KVL in the input loop and a KVL in the output loop. If you apply KVL in the input loop from minus to plus VBB, then plus minus IBRB minus VBE equal to 0. So that is the input KVL. What about output KVL? If you apply from VCC to ground in this straight line vertical, what I will write? VCC minus ICRC minus VCE equal to 0. So what I can say is, if I want a curve between IC and VCE, IC is how much? VCC by RC minus VCE by RC. It is a straight line. What is the slope of this line? Minus 1 by RC. This is Y, this is C, this is MX. Okay, where X is VCE. So the term with VCE is the slope, which is minus 1 by RC. So if you see, if I want the intercept of this line, for Y intercept you will keep X equal to 0, Y equal to C, which is how much? VCC by RC. Y equal to 0, then X equal to minus C by M, which is equal to VCC. Okay. So now here if you see, this is the load line. Load line is nothing but this straight line equation derived by the KVL equation in the output loop. It means that we have drawn the curve based on the load connected to the transistor, and here RC is being treated as the load. So the characteristics of the load is called as the load line. If you see, the Y intercept is VCC by RC and X intercept is VCC, and the line has a slope, this I have written incorrectly, R subscript C. Okay, and the line has a negative slope of minus 1 by RC. On the same graph, I have drawn the output characteristic of common emitter. Just now I told, see, This was the characteristic that we saw in common emitter configuration. Same way, see the curves here. As IB is increasing, the curve is moving upwards. Now, when both the curves intersect, we get the operating point. So, these are the operating point based on different values of base current. Okay, this is for 20 microampere, then 40 microampere, then 60, then 80. So, different operating point based on different values of the base current. This region before point 2 is saturation and this region is active. So all the intersections that I have shown you right now are based in the active region. That means I am biasing the transistor in the active region. Okay, is this fine? So what we have done is we have drawn two curves. One is the output characteristic of transistor and other is the load line. And based on intersection of these two, we get the operating point. And operating point means two values, IC and VCE. This is called as your operating point of BJT. Like in diode, the operating point was diode current and diode voltage. Here it is collector current and collector to emitter voltage. Okay. So what you have to remember about load line, it is a straight line derived from output KVL in a BJT circuit. Okay, it is a straight line which is derived from output KVL in a BJT circuit. And what is happening here? Q point or DC operating point. When we talk about Q point or DC operating point, it is derived from intersection of load line and output characteristics. Why is this operating point important? This operating point is important because it tells us the region of operation. I told you there are three possible region of operation: saturation, cutoff and active. So in which region you want to operate will be decided based on this DC operating point, and based on that we will superimpose the AC signal on this DC value. Okay. Next, let us talk about the Q point. So how do we decide where we have to bias the transistor, whether in active, cutoff or saturation? See, if Q point belongs to active region, then BJT is used as an amplifier. Now if it belongs to saturation region, then BJT is treated as on switch. That is the on state of a switch. If it belongs to cutoff, then BJT is treated as off switch. Okay. So BJT can be treated as an amplifier or as a switch. In saturation, it is treated as an on state of the switch. In cutoff, it is off state of a switch. And in active, it will work as an amplifier. So in analog electronics, this application is most important for us, whereas this application is used in digital electronics. Okay, that is as a switch. Or even in power electronics, we make use of BJT as a switch. Okay. Now what generally happens when we talk about amplifier? If I talk about amplifier, generally Q point is taken in middle of load line. Why in middle of load line? The first question comes, why in the middle of the load line? See, the mid of the load line is equidistant from cutoff and saturation. it is neither in cutoff or nor in saturation. It is equidistant from both the things. That means if AC signal is superimposed, see what happens. Let me show you this. This is IC. This is VC. We draw the load line like this. I am take the Q point at the middle of the load line. Why? Because this is the DC voltage. Now when you superimpose AC on DC, when we superimpose AC on DC like this, then as you can see, the voltage can increase and the voltage can decrease. That means when the voltage increases, we move towards right, and when voltage decreases, we move towards left. Is it fine? Because voltage is on the x-axis. See this. So when you increase the voltage, you will go towards right, and when you decrease, you will go towards left. So if the point is equidistant from saturation, this is saturation, and this one is cutoff. If the point is equidistant from both the regions, then even after applying AC, the operating point will neither enter saturation nor it will enter the cutoff region. But if it is near to any region, then there is a chance transistor might enter saturation or cutoff, and then it will not work as an amplifier, but it will work as a switch. So if you want to make it an amplifier, you have to make sure that operating point stays in the active region, and for that to happen, you have to choose middle of the load line, so that even after deviation, you don't enter saturation or cutoff. Okay, and that is the primary reason why we want to bias in the middle of load line or in the active region. This is fine. Now let us understand what happens in the middle of the load line. Now if we say that the output voltage of BJT is the collector to emitter voltage, and then the power dissipation in the transistor will be VCE into IC. That is the power dissipation in the transistor. VCE is written as VCC minus ICRC into IC. This is the load line equation, right? Now this with power dissipation then becomes VCC into IC minus IC square RC. If you differentiate this power dissipation with respect to current, it will become VCC minus 2IC RC. If you keep it as 0, then IC will come out to be VCC by 2RC. And based on that, V0 or VCE will come out to be VCC by 2. That is middle of load line. Okay. Now if you take double derivative is minus 2RC less than 0. That means this is point of maxima, because at the point of maxima derivative is 0 and double derivative is negative. That means at the middle of the load line, what you can say? Power dissipation is maximum. So middle of the load line, what is the advantage? That the transistor will neither saturate nor it will enter cutoff. It will always behave as an amplifier. What is the disadvantage? That power dissipation will be high. Now this power dissipation will become an important criteria when we talk about power amplifier, but right now we are talking about signal amplifiers or small signal amplifiers. So this power dissipation is not a very important criteria. Okay. Now we'll talk about Q point stability. What is meant by Q point stability? So I told you Q point is nothing but it is a set of two values, that is IC comma VC. It is being stable. Stable means it does not fluctuate due to environmental conditions. Environmental condition like temperature, pressure, all these things should not impact the Q point. The Q point should remain stable. Now let us understand why Q point will change due to environmental condition. See, first I'll say if temperature increases, then what happens? The first thing, ICBO will increase, right? I told you ICBO is the reverse saturation current. It doubles for every 10 degree centigrade rise in temperature. Now we know IC in common emitter is beta IB plus 1 plus beta ICBO. So increase in ICBO, you can say IC increases. Now based on load line, VCE is VCC minus ICRC. So if IC increases, VCE decreases. Okay. So due to temperature, IC increases and VCE reduces. So we say that Q point goes towards saturation. Why saturation? If you see the curve, this is saturation, this is active. So below 0.2 volt, that is if the voltage is reducing, below 0.2 volt transistor will saturate. So if voltage is reducing, we can say it is moving towards saturation. What other thing happens due to temperature increase? As temperature increases, VBE reduces. Why VBE reduces? VBE is base to emitter voltage, right? It is nothing but the knee voltage of PN diode. Which diode? The base emitter junction. I told you BJT consists of two diodes. One is across base emitter and other is across collector base. So base emitter is nothing but a diode and it has a built-in potential which is KT by E ln Na Nd by Ni square. Now you might think that with increase in temperature VBI should increase, but Ni square is proportional to T cube. So as temperature increases, Ni square increases, VBI decreases. Always this Ni square will dominate this linear term that is T. So we can say VBE reduces. Now if you apply KVL, as I told you earlier, if you apply KVL in the input loop, you get IB is VBB minus VBE by RB. Now this VBE is reducing, so you can say IB increases. If IB increases based on this equation, what you can say? IC increases, and based on load line VCE reduces. Same way, if IC increases, VCE reduces, again Q point moves towards saturation. Okay, that is the second thing that happens due to temperature change. So that is why the temperature coefficient, this you have to remember, the temperature coefficient of VBE is minus 2.5 millivolt per degree centigrade. Okay, that is with every degree centigrade rise in temperature, the built-in potential or VBE would reduce by 2.5 millivolt. Okay. Now let us see what other thing happens due to temperature change. Okay, moving on. The third thing that happens with temperature change, as temperature increases, beta increases. Why this beta increases? Because with increase in temperature, recombination reduces. I told you when charge carriers enter the base region from emitter, when they enter the base region from emitter, they recombine and some charges cross over to the collector. But if recombination is less, most of the charge carriers will enter the collector region. So if recombination is less, collector current will increase, hence beta equal to IC by IB will also increase. Okay. So that happens with temperature. Again, due to increase in beta, you can say IC increases and VCE reduces. So the Q point moves towards saturation. So there are three main factors that change with temperature: VBE, ICBO and beta. And all these changes tend to move the operating point towards the saturation region. Is it fine? They all tend to move the Q point towards the saturation. Now we want to design a circuit in which Q point should be stable. That is, the Q point should not change with temperature. The design of circuit should be such that. Okay. So we will say that the change in collector current will be change in IC due to VBE plus change in IC due to ICBO plus change in IC due to beta. Okay. So IC is changing due to three factors: VBE, ICBO and beta. So how you can write delta IC? Delta IC will be del IC by del VBE into delta VBE plus del IC by del ICBO into delta ICBO plus del IC by del beta into delta beta. Okay. So in all these things, when we are changing VBE, I will say ICBO and beta are constant. When we are changing ICBO, I will say VBE and beta are constant. When we are changing beta, ICBO and VBE are constant. That means we are changing only one parameter at a time, and based on that we are writing this derivation, or based on that we are writing the change in IC. So I will write this derivative, I will call it as sensitivity of VBE into delta VBE plus sensitivity of ICBO into delta ICBO and sensitivity of beta into delta beta. Now we write it as S delta ICBO plus S dash delta VBE plus S double dash delta beta. Okay. Now in all these factors, S is maximum, or you can say S is greater than S dash and S double dash. If such a thing happens, I say that IC is most affected by ICBO. That is, the change in IC is brought about mostly by ICBO. Other factors are not very dominating. And that is why our major focus will be on deriving this stability factor S, and will not derive S dash or S double dash. Now the question comes, how do you derive the value of S? So the circuit that we saw earlier, that is common emitter configuration. I am referring to the original circuit. How we draw that circuit? For your reference I am showing. Okay. Like this. There can be other circuits also that we'll study in the next lecture. What kind of biasing techniques can we have? So in common emitter configuration, what I wrote is collector current is nothing but beta IB plus 1 plus beta ICBO. Now the sensitivity S was del IC by del ICBO. This I want to derive. If you want to derive this, differentiate this equation with respect to ICBO. So what we'll write? Sorry, differentiate with respect to IC. So beta, 1 minute. What I mean to say is differentiate both the sides with respect to ICBO. So sensitivity is del IC by del ICBO. The second term will be beta del IB by del IC. I am differentiating it by chain rule. Del IC by del ICBO plus the second term will be 1 plus beta. Now this term is sensitivity del IC by del ICBO. So this term I can take on the left hand side. 1 minus del IB by del IC. So that means this sensitivity will be 1 plus beta by 1 minus beta del IB by del IC. So that will be the value of sensitivity. And how do we derive this del IB by del IC? In order to derive this parameter, what happens? We apply KVL in the input loop. If you apply KVL in the input loop, like in the circuit I showed you, VBB minus IBRB minus VBE equal to 0. Now differentiate this equation with respect to IC. 0 minus IRB del IB by del IC minus 0 equal to 0, which means del IB by del IC in this circuit is 0. So based on that, what I can say, sensitivity will become 1 plus beta. So what you have to remember, when you want to derive the stability factor, apply S equal to 1 plus beta by 1 minus 1 minute beta del IB by del IC. Then apply KVL in input loop, differentiate both sides with respect to IC, and from here we derive del IB by del IC. We'll substitute that in the formula of sensitivity. Now let us see what are the techniques that are used for stabilizing the Q point. So there are majorly two categories of these techniques. The first technique is called as biasing technique, and the second one is called as compensation technique. In biasing, we will study three types of biasing: fixed bias, self or voltage divider bias, VD means voltage divider, and the third one, collector to base bias. So that is important from gate point of view. This compensation is not important from gate point of view. In this we cover diode compensation. Okay. Then we study thermistor and sensistor compensation, and the last one, transistor compensation. So there are three techniques in each category, but what we'll focus on is the biasing technique from gate point of view. These three biasing techniques are important. Okay, but we'll start that in the next lecture. So if we talk about region of operation, okay, so we'll start the biasing technique in the next lecture, but before starting that, we need to understand the region of operation. So how to determine whether transistor will operate in active, saturation or cutoff? So what are the steps? You first assume VBE equal to 0.7 volt. Then by KVL also assume active region. By KVL in base emitter loop, that is the input loop, find IB you have to find IB. Then calculate IC as beta IB plus 1 plus beta ICBO, and VCE like VCC minus ICRC. Don't remember this equation, just remember VCE by KVL in output loop. Okay, so you have to calculate VCE by applying KVL in the output loop. If VCE comes out to be greater than 0.2 volt, then our assumption was correct, it was active region. If VCE comes out to be less than 0.2 volt, then it is saturation. In saturation, what you have to do is take VCE equal to 0.2 volt and apply KVL in output loop and find IC. Okay, from input loop find IB. Okay, but if IB itself is less than 0, then it is cut off. Cut off you will rarely encounter. Mostly we have to decide between active and saturation. One more thing, if you are using IC is beta IB or IE is 1 plus beta IB, these relations are only valid in active region. So when you are solving in saturation, never use these factors. Always you have to solve for IC and IB separately. But the equation that IE is IC plus IB, this is KCL equation, this is universal and can always be used. Okay, but this relation between collector and base current and emitter and base current can only be used in active region. Make sure about that. So if we summarize what we have learned today, we have first discussed what is the meaning of biasing. I told you, applying DC voltage to set the operating point. Then we studied about Q point, that it is derived from intersection of output characteristics and load line. Then we studied about Q point stability, that due to temperature increase, the Q point will always go towards saturation. And I told you three factors change: ICBO, VBE and beta. And I also told you dVBE by dt, the temperature coefficient is minus 2.5 millivolt per degree centigrade. Then we said stability factor is del IC by del ICBO. This we derived as 1 plus beta by 1 minus beta del IB by del IC. So this I told you how to derive this. And then we talked about how to find the region of operation of a transistor. And I told you about the different biasing and the stabilization techniques, which we will study from the next lecture onwards. So from next video, we will start with the biasing techniques, and that is important from numerical point of view. Okay. So till then, thank you.
I hope all of you have enjoyed the lecture that we were providing, and all of you learned something very, very good. Now is the time to learn about the Unacademy subscription. So as I told the benefits of the Plus subscription at the very beginning, let's go through them very, very quickly. Live classes you get by the top educators, crash course, rank improvement batch, doubt clearing, weekly quiz, test series, previous year question, practice question, everything in one subscription called as Unacademy Plus. And Iconic is one level higher. It provides you a personal coach who will mentor you on a daily basis, who will guide you on a daily basis, along with providing you study planner, test analysis, study material, and soon enough, interview guidance. So if you are looking to join Unacademy, let's see what are the pricing. So my dear friends, before we see the pricing, just see the link. This link will help you crack GATE and ESE with the top rank, because we have created the first ever video book for GATE and ESE for my YouTube family, and you will get the notes as well as the lectures here. Just make sure that you write this link in the uppercase and you will get to the first ever video book for GATE and ESE, and it is nothing but revolutionary. Now let's see the pricing of Plus subscription. So for 12 months the pricing is 3250, but if you apply the code Ankit ESE, it becomes 27 to 25. For 18 months, it will be 34,650, and for 24 months, 39,600. Believe me, my dear friend, this is the most affordable pricing, and the longer duration subscriptions are more cost effective as compared to shorter duration. Like here, it will cost you 1650 per month. Okay, this will be 2000 per month approx. This will be around 2250 per month. Then if you go for Iconic for 12 months, it is 5250 with code Ankit ESE, it becomes 45,225, and 2 year subscription becomes 66,600. So the choice is your, but take a longer duration subscription for more cost effective solution, and to give GATE and ESE at least 2 times, so that if you once crack GATE, in the next attempt you can even get ESE. And other than that, my friends, you can download the Unacademy Learning app right now, because there we provide live classes for free, test series and live quizzes for free. And once you download it, make sure that you follow this profile. This is my profile, so that whenever I come live, you will get the notification. And this is the Telegram channel for our team. Here you will find all the lecture links, all the lecture files, and all the links for the special classes. Other than that, my friend, my personal Telegram channel also you can join, t.me/GateAIR1. Here you can get in touch with me, and we can take this journey together. Okay. Other than that, we have other YouTube channels like Mechanical, Civil, and Telugu, JEE channel, Computer Science, Gate Question, and Electrical Junction, Pathshala, and GS Terminal. Electrical Junction contains short videos of great concepts. Pathshala provides you animated content. JEE preparation can be done through these 2 channels, Unacademy SSC JEE and GS Terminal. And you can refer the other channels to the other friends in respective branches, so that they can also be benefited. At last, I would like to say, please share, like, and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel, and not only subscribe, press the bell icon, so that you get notified whenever a new video comes. And share these videos among all your college group, among all your friends, so that we can create the first ever revolution of free education in field of GATE and ESE. Thank you to everybody for dedicating time to watching this video. Please move on to the next one as well, and take the benefit of all the free content that we are providing. And in case you have completed the series, do make sure you watch the other subjects available on this channel. Thank you.